You'll be so quick to walk away. This thing, I wanna rock your body. This thing.
Yo, what up, hey? How you doing, guys? My name is Sanj, and today, as you can see to my left, we've got a very special guest. Pierre, would you like to introduce yourself?
Why are you screaming?
Such a dick. You're literally such a dick. Go on.
Hi guys, my name is Pierre. I'm a fashion journalist, writer, commentator.
I wanted to do like a recap of London Fashion Week, talk about the men's shows that we liked, that I disliked, and I thought who better to bring on. Obviously the boys know their stuff, but when it comes to genuine knowledge about fashion, the background, the history, Pierre genuinely is my go-to guy. And so he was supposed to be here 3 hours earlier. That didn't happen because he's just doesn't know anywhere.
Fashionably late.
He wanted food and we kind of combined it both together, so we thought we would do like a, you know how like people do like these mukbangs where they just eat food and talk about music? We're gonna eat food and talk about fashion. London Fashion Week, men's. As a whole, what did you think?
It was kind of sad actually because first of all, they reverted to like a 3-day format because a lot of people bailed out of the schedule. There was no V in Westwood, there was no JW, there's no Burberry because everyone is combining or using the digital format, which is a bit annoying for journalists and editors because you want to see the clothes, you want to see what the proposition will be for the next season.
Yeah.
And so that already was kind of like a bit annoying and sad.
Do you not see that as moving towards the right way though? Do you not feel like this kind of allows for perhaps young designers to not necessarily feel pressured to do a show where they can do like a presentation? If the big dogs are doing presentations, the small guys can do presentations too.
Well, in that sense, yes, but I think the show is still the best format to present your collection because you want people, I mean, just seeing the clothes move is very important. So it needs, like, a show is still very, very much the best format, in my opinion, at least.
Fair enough. Alright, cool. So the ones that we're going to talk about, obviously for Winter 18, which were just shown in London. So let's talk about, I think this was a show that you were quite keen on as well, Oliver Spencer.
No, that was Marks and Spencer.
This guy just throws shade straight away. Okay, so Oliver Spencer, did you not like it at all?
No, it was boring. For the references that he said it was inspired by, that was just a boring show. It was really, you know, are we going to Marks and Spencer or Oliver Spencer? Obviously the tailoring is good because he's a good tailor, but in terms of creativity there was nothing really going on.
I guess that's what like makes London special, is the fact that London used to be, still is to a certain extent, where the creativity really kind of led through the design. But I still love the pieces, man. They're extremely wearable. I guess it goes back to what you're saying about, is it Marks and Spencer?
Like this look is very much unnecessary to show on the runway. Have that in the store.
Yeah, I feel you. Do you want to explain to the guys, because some people might not understand that, runway looks versus just looks that just appear in stores. How does that work?
Oh yeah, well, technically, I mean, usually a runway look would be all the runway looks actually are pieces that give and explain the mood of the, you know, the collection and what you've been working over the, you know, past 6 months or so. So they need to be striking. They really need to have that element of boom, this is what we're showing, this is what we've been looking at. And then obviously when it comes to the stores, like, it becomes much more commercial and wearable, and that's what people buy.
Yeah.
But you need to have that aesthetic identity to explain to your audience what you've been looking at. So if your runway looks look like what you will have in the store, to me there's a problem.
Okay. Fair enough. I still think it's a beautiful collection though. Extremely wearable, but again, I completely understand where Pierre's coming from, and you're very much like, that's very much a fashion answer. Do you know what I mean? Like someone that comes from a fashion background, as opposed to like a regular, everyday guy, he might feel himself attracted to this.
Yeah, of course, no, it's a good collection, but
Yeah.
as a journalist, from a journalistic point of view, it's boring because he wasn't bringing enough to me.
Gotcha.
And the velvet trousers, come on. You're a bit late to the party, Mr. Spencer.
Cottweiler, because I saw that you were
I love that.
a fan of it. Okay, what made you like it? Because it's not very Pierre.
Oh, it's not. I would never wear it. I would never buy it. I would never give them my money, ever.
Can I get them the Paris, please?
But I thought it was a really interesting proposition, and I thought they really went towards what they wanted to do. There was no, like, it wasn't let's meet halfway. It was, we want to go for a certain look and a certain aesthetic. I thought the jumpers were really cool. These I hated though.
I hate the print.
Yeah, but
I like the material, I like the cuts of the garment.
I mean, to me, they are designers who understand the Savile Row aesthetic or the Savile Row craft, and then they mix that with the street style and the streetwear. So you're not going to see a suit, but you can tell by the way things are cut that they actually know what they're doing.
For me, Cottweiler is like a very London brand, British in the sense of the street, the youth culture, kindly what's going on at the moment with the whole like tracksuits,
Oh,
sweatpants, athleisure, sportswear, whatever you wish to call it. I think one of the main detail for me for Cottweiler this season that I genuinely enjoyed were the accessories. Some really, really cool stuff that you can include in your day-to-day. And the fact that they used some interesting elements, because I saw that they had some like hiking hook. What's that material of the band that they use in hiking? There's a specific, it's like made of nylon.
Yeah, I think it's nylon.
But like that sort of stuff, I really like the combination of the utilitarian and bringing it into the fashion world, which I know a lot of brands have been doing, but they've executed it really well.
And of course they had a really good casting, which is important. It's always important to mention
I feel
that.
like London shows always have good casting in comparison to like Paris, Milan, for example.
Yeah, I mean London is, London has this sense of diversity that the other cities don't have. Like in Milan it's pretty much tall, buff, tan guys, and in Paris it's like skinny boys, white boys. So, but even though everyone is trying to make an effort, London is still the best in terms of diversity.
100%. Who else do we have in London that made a bit of a buzz? Okay, let's talk about Wales Bonner.
I loved it. Last season was a bit disappointing.
Mate, I was saying the same thing. I was like, what is this? Like, where? Like, it felt like she lost who she was. The first two, or was it two? Yeah, the first two seasons were incredible to me.
Yeah.
And then last season, she was just like, what is this? This is not Grace. This is not her.
It didn't feel like her, and I think to me, there was also probably a styling problem. And I don't want to name names, but Jack Guinness is our stylist, and I think there was a styling issue. I think also maybe, I'm just assuming that he probably doesn't really understand the references that she uses, as a person who's interested in African and Caribbean culture very heavily. She's very smart and on point with her references. Sometimes it might feel a bit too obvious to me because I know about this stuff, but she put it out there in a very smart way. But this season was really good. I thought the shapes were good. I think she's measured twice, cut once, type of designer, and I really appreciate that. And even though she had some sportswear looks, they all look very chic.
100%.
It's not something you would want to wear to the gym, first of all, because she's hella expensive, but also because it's something you could just,
I absolutely love the cuts, man. The trousers with the popper details at the bottom.
Yeah.
So beautiful. And the shirt, I'm not saying I did it before her, but there's a lot of shirts that I tailored to have this really cropped in the body and slightly elongated sleeve, which is still what she's doing, and man, she's done it in such a beautiful way, and the colours as well. And I think a big thing with Wales has always been the use of beautiful textures.
Yeah, a great thing to add, and obviously her women's wear look are as strong as the men's wear, and a man could be wearing those looks as well.
100%. What was your favourite look though?
My favourite look is this one.
Is it?
Yeah,
is it this as well?
This is it.
Mate, this is just
the one.
so on point. Look at that shirt. The shirt, the cut of the trousers, how
it's all,
they flow so beautifully. And I know this is going to be disgustingly expensive, but I'm gonna have to bite the bullet whenever these come on, because mate,
this is really good.
The details at the bottom are so sick. But she doesn't do footwear, does she?
No.
Fair enough. So Wales Bonner, we would give what's the rating? What do publications use as ratings? They don't really rate. No. You don't really rate shows, do you? Something we do here. So do you want to rate them out of 10?
I'll give her a good 9.
Good 9. Okay, fair. I was gonna stick with a 9 as well. Fair. Okay. Charles, Jeffrey, Loverboy.
Charles and Grace to me are really good. Not just because they come from CSM, but
Pierre's also from CSM as well.
Yeah.
That hence where we met. And
I just think that they know what they're doing, in terms of aesthetic and in terms of the idea they want to bring out. I think they really know what they're doing, and people always say, oh, Charles is like, a cheap Vivienne Westwood. I don't think so. I think he's a really smart person. I spoke to his team at the showroom the next day, and the references are absolutely genius.
What were the references?
There was, for example, I think it's one of the last look. It's a girl wearing it, and it's a French coat from the French. It's a coat from the French Revolution, essentially, that they've turned upside down and reworked it as a duffel coat. And to me, that was just my favorite piece. It was genius. This one this coat and I saw it in the showroom and I was like, perfect.
So it was a French Revolution long coat that they reworked into...
They turned it up, like upside down.
Okay.
And then they reworked it as a duffel coat.
Yeah. Is it going to be a women's wear piece or can it be unisex? Because it looks fairly women's. Very tight in the shoulders.
I mean, it's a women's wear piece, essentially, but a lot of guys would wear that, especially because Charles' customers are very gender fluid and they don't really care about what is women's wear and what's men's wear. And that's something he's been challenging as well, so...
100% fair enough. Yeah, to me, Charles has been, again, like Pierre said, a very smart designer. Again, this is what I consider as like a London designer where it's so eclectic and everything is like thrown together. And it's for that reason that I usually kind of stray away from labels like that, because it borders on crazy, and for many years it's been very crazy, and even this year it is somewhat crazy.
Yeah.
But there's definitely some pieces that are awesome. As a whole, this is just not the kind of fashion that is for me, but I can appreciate it.
But to me, when Vivienne Westwood's PR tool, when they was not going to do a show, I was like, thank God we've got Charles Jeffrey, because who is going to bring that referencing, that eclectic, that fun, you know, party-like show, and Charles Jeffrey is doing very well. So
yeah, Vivienne shows are always like very theatrical, and there's this element, there's this energy that comes around in the room.
Yeah,
that's incredible. So, but yeah, Charles Jeffrey, fair play. Some of the pieces are not for me, as I said, but some of the coats are just so sick.
And they're they're very well made as well, which is what I love about Charles, is that he's got this, again, maybe it's a very British thing, but he's got kind of like a Savile Row way of thinking when he's making a suit. So, you know, the suit are well cut. And for young designers, this is very important, because I've seen some stuff during the Man Show and I was like, what is this? If you cannot cut the suit, don't cut the suit.
Okay, Pierre, calm your ass down. Fucking hell.
For a minute, I thought we were going to go to Craig Green and I was going to lose it.
Oh, okay. Do you want to go Craig Green? Because I feel like we're going to have different stance on this. I'm going to let you speak first. My thoughts on Craig Green are positive. However, there is a negative kick.
Okay, my thoughts are negative, but there is a positive kick.
Okay, here, go.
One Trick Pony. That's the first thing I have to say. Like, we get it. Thank you, Mr. Green. We get it. We know what you want to do. You know, especially in this collection, I could count, maybe there's more, but there is literally 5 ideas for 32 looks. That is unacceptable. It really is, because when you show something and then you replicate it in different colors and let us have like the sleeve shortened. That to me is not, you don't need to show that in a show. So there was not real design innovations. It was typical Craig Green, and you know, we've seen it before. You know, I can probably design his next collection before he even designed it himself. No, that's a bit pretentious. Yeah. A little bit pretentious.
Calm down.
No, but
tell me your designs back when you did fashion
design. You're an ass. No, but yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's still very faithful to his aesthetic, which is something I admire, and you know, for a designer, not to go, you know, north, south, east, and west every season. And the color palette was outrageous. It was just,
really?
Yeah, I did not like this color palette.
I thought the colours were great.
It was like a vomit green or something. It was just like
vomit green. No, to me, I mean, this kind of, that was my negative kick, and I've addressed this before with Craig Green, is that it does very easily fall into that one trick pony thing where it could all be, all of his, I'd say 5 last collections could be one collection. That's how I see it. And obviously, if you enjoy that sort of aesthetic, that's great, because to you, that's just like, oh, okay, there's more options. But as a designer, I don't know if you'll ever be able to grow, but who the fuck am I to tell you how to grow your business? But if you're not going to experiment and try something new at least, you're not really going to grow as a brand, and you're not going to be able to potentially get some new clients or whatever. So in that sense, that's my negative kick. My positive kick is that some of the looks are just absolutely beautiful, man. I love.
Which one?
I like these tents thing. The tents
they're cute,
look.
but we don't need 10 of them.
There's only 3.
No, there.
1, 2,
they're all
3.
No, I think the others are the same, but the hoodie is just black.
The hood is not put up. But
to me, it looks the same, and that's my issue with Craig Green.
Yeah, but they're so
like,
nice.
I can split this collection in like, you know, 3 or 4 sections that are just a series of looks that look the same.
Just in different colours. Yeah, but isn't that no? I was gonna say isn't that?
But they're not bad clothes, you know. They're not bad clothes, you know. They're well made. They're comfortable. You know, they have this contemporary feel to it, which is, you know, it's his aesthetic. You know, I can't tell him what to design.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like I want to see a lot more because obviously I know he's talented. So there is. By the way, I would give Charles Jeffrey a 9 as well.
Charles Jeffrey a 9.
Yeah.
Okay. What would you give Craig?
I'll give him a 5.
A 5. I think you're letting the fact that he's so repetitive hinder your score.
It's a 5.
It's a 5?
It's a 5.
Okay, I'd give it an 8, but I really like Craig Green. Literally the only 2 points are due to the fact that it's very repetitive and it's nothing new. As the saying goes, if it's not broken, what is the saying? If it's not broken,
I don't know.
there must be a French version of it. If something's not broken, then
Yeah,
fix
I know
it.
what you mean. Je sais pas.
Je sais pas. Okay, Casely-Hayford.
Great.
So Casely-Hayford did not a presentation, sorry. So he just did a lookbook, photographs release. My initial thought was the styling is great. Like the styling
Oh yeah.
and the clothing, fantastic. I absolutely, like such a sick collection. And what's really annoying is that he really doesn't get the credit, not the credit, but like the awareness that he deserves. I feel like he should be a much bigger designer than
definitely.
he is, but for some reason it just gets slept on. And going back to what we were saying about Oliver Spencer, I feel like Casely-Hayford is again someone that does not outrageous clothing, but they just styled well and they're made well and they look beautiful. So Oliver Spencer and Casely-Hayford are in the same group, but two different ends of the same group, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And I think because he's way more on point when it comes to styling, because he understands what, you know, his customers and even like a more global audience want to wear at the moment, you know. There's a lot of styling tricks there that I can see that are very popular right now, and that's why it works, because he's tapping into the now, and that's what you do as a fashion designer compared to Oliver Spencer.
Such a dick.
Who is just having this very age type of styling, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't look modern. The clothes are good, but they don't look modern. Here, the clothes are good and they look modern.
Even this, like, I'm not a fan of sleeveless knit, but he made me like them. I don't think I'll purchase it, but man, that looks awesome as a whole.
The first trench coat is
incredible.
The shape, it's like, yeah, it's a designer who knows what he's doing.
I love this look as well. Love the styling, the trousers, the jumper tucked in, half of the collar sticking out for a bit of sprezzatura. This is just awful though. This can go. This
We
can
didn't
go.
need
Why did you ruin such a?
But this
is nice, isn't it? So who else showed that aren't in this list? A-Cold-Wall. What did you think of A-Cold-Wall?
that was a big ass mess.
Really?
It did not work at all. There was one element that I liked. One.
What was it?
Drawstrings around the knees. When the models were walking, they were like flicking around. That was cool. Anything else didn't make any sense. I was like, I don't know what you're trying to tell me. I don't know who you are. And I don't want to know who you are after saying this. It was bad. I was on the show. I was like sitting. I
could see you from where I was sat.
Oh, right.
But I only noticed afterwards.
I arrived and I was like, oh, I've got my seat. And they were like, oh, it's full. I was like, what do you mean? They were like, well, you can sit here. And I was like, fucking hell, have some respect.
Have some respect on my name. Okay, so there's been an interruption in the take, so if I cut very abruptly, unfortunately I don't know when it cut. So we're going to go back to, we were talking about how in fall winter 18 in London anyway, there was a big surge of this tech wear look and feel to everything. Like a lot of the designers presented either fabric that fell into that category or just the aesthetic overall, which has been a big thing in the street culture, but now that it's being brought to the forefront, what's your thoughts? Why do you think that is? And how do you think it's going to work within the fashion? The upper class fashion, if you wish.
The way I analyze this is that this is a response to what's happening now. This is a response to Elon Musk. This is a response to, you know, artificial intelligence. This is because fashion is really about the times and about today, and we're seeing this like crazy Silicon Valley stuff happening, and I feel like fashion needs to address that, and this is the way, you know, we are addressing this. It's just about today. I think that's why, and you know, obviously you translate that into fabrics, and you translate that into, you know, certain looks, and that's what you get. But this is for very contemporary designers, you know, because you have some brands who would still go into their Savile suits.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's bad, but it's not really a response to what's happening now. I think if you want to, you know, if you want to really be a designer of the time, like, you know, even people like Rick Owens, I mean, this is Paris, but you know, they are the people who are actually responding to what's happening now and answering, you know, with design questions that are being asked in other industries. But because fashion is, you know, it's part of culture and part of all of that, that's why I think we're seeing all of that techie fashion happening.
Perfect answer, mate. Take a bite, mate. Take a bite. It's all good. Is there a show? We're gonna wrap it up now. So, is there a show that you wanted to speak about in particular that we haven't mentioned already?
I'd rather talk about Kusami.
Yes, great show. I don't know why it's not on this fucking
It's
list.
on, yeah, I don't know. It's on WWD.
I prefer fucking Young.
This was definitely one of my favorite shows.
100%.
I think Khaled understands luxury in a way that other designers of his caliber just, you know, don't.
Define his caliber though.
He is someone I would compare to Kim Jones at Louis Vuitton. Oh yes, I think he understands what luxury is, because when you look, it's not just about design. It starts with the fabric. Every single fabrics in his collections are well researched and are extremely expensive looking. So it starts with this, and then the design, especially in this collection, felt very much authentic. It doesn't feel like he's trying to be someone that he's not in a way.
Yeah.
And to me, that is pretty much what Kim Jones is doing at Louis Vuitton as well.
Mate, some of the pieces, the way that it's cut, the material used, is just so fucking sick.
It's the trousers, the wide trousers, when everyone is obsessed with like the skinny. I've seen a lot of people. Yeah.
Come on, fashion is moving towards a very wide cut.
Oh yeah, of course. But then some people are still resilient to that, and they're still putting skinny trousers or slim cut trousers. But
it's got a slim cut as well. I think you need to have a balance of the both.
yeah, but I prefer this one.
Yeah,
I would not
100%.
wear them because I know that it wouldn't look good on me.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the fact that he's doing something that is a bit different.
Yeah.
It's not different in terms of like craziness, colors and everything, but it's different as a whole, as a mood, the message he's trying to send out there of, you know, his idea of what men should be wearing.
Yeah.
I think it's very authentic. This
to me felt very Calvin Klein.
No, this is just stupid. You know,
this feels very Calvin
this
Klein.
is a piece you know that should have been.
But I don't know why he left that in,
I don't know.
the show.
This is the only thing that I didn't
The
understand.
trousers are incredible though,
Yeah.
and the belt, and the star. Oh my god! But okay, you're gonna see the picture anyway. But that blessed top, I'm just not too keen on it. I don't know why it's even been included in the show. But I think I'm just gonna echo what Pierre says. So I'm not gonna speak on it much. But man, what an incredible designer.
The earthy tone of the collection just felt right. You know, sometimes it's really hard to play with colors. People think it's very easy. It's actually really hard, especially like neutral tones. As a designer, they are one of the hardest to play with. Yeah, it felt like a grown-up proposition. It felt like this guy has been in business for 40 years and he knows exactly what he's doing. So yeah, definitely a good 8 or 9.
I'll give him a good 9.
Yeah.
'Cause to me, like,
yeah, well deserved.
to me, my favourite shows this London Fashion Week were Kusami. Is it Kusami or Casemy?
Casemy.
Casemy, Wells Bonner, and you give your top 3. Let me just think about the third.
My top 3 would be in no particular order because they're too different in terms of style. Wells Bonner, Charles Jeffrey, and Casemy.
I actually think I'd put Craig Green in there.
Oh wow.
But that's mostly because of my love of the clothing, as opposed to you've done the same thing that you've done over the 3 years. Do you know what I mean? So if we were to look at just clothing as the way it is, I'd definitely put it in there. But I think before we wrap it up as well, honourable mentions, the ones that we didn't necessarily discuss too much about. Daniel Fletcher, amazing though, right? Some of the pieces.
I liked it. I wish next season he would do a show. I think
I don't think he's gonna do shows, man. He's very like anti all that shit. He's very anti-corporate, and I feel like it would be very off-brand for him to do a runway.
But his clothes are really good. His clothes are really, really good.
Very well made.
Very well made. I've seen them a couple of times in
Liberties.
In Liberties, yeah. And yeah, I just think he's doing quality products, and who are not just products, because when you talk to him about his references as well, there is some research.
He's another CSM Adam though. Okay. Whenever there's someone from CSM, I'll plug them. I'm like, yo, go check it out. But he's actually, again, a very like, I don't want to say underrated, because he is a very young designer. He still has a lot to go through, but incredible pieces, and I actually really, really like them.
But compared to other designers, I think he's underrated, because when you look at Fashionista, I mean, they produce the Man Show, and they bring 3 young designers and support them. But in the past few years, to me, Fashionista has had this habit of like supporting rubbish and clothes that are not necessarily the best in terms of design. And I feel like Daniel, I feel like he I mean, maybe he would have not want to
I don't feel like he's very fashionista.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, he's definitely someone to consider and to keep an eye on, because his clothes are good.
And he's got the same thing going like Wells Bonner.
Yeah.
The trousers. My favourite look of his though was he did like this half placket shirt. Oh,
that's a good one.
It's so simple, but it's so well styled and just so well, by the looks of it, crafted.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely check it out, because I'm sure he's going to be a very successful designer.
And he's affordable, so go and buy it.
Should we wrap it up here?
Yeah.
That is that for this mukbang video where you didn't even finish eating your food.
No, fashion people don't eat.
He's like the kind of pretentious fashion people. Pierre's easily, in my opinion, one of my favourite fashion journalists to read. His piece is incredible. No, get the fuck away. If you wish to see like a review of Milan or Paris with the boy Pierre over here, do let me know, because as I said, he brings in an element of genuine fashion history knowledge. Like, I can talk to you about clothing, but it's very subjective, and it's very like, oh, the cuts are great, this is sick. But yeah, that's that. Pierre, where can they find you?
Instagram at Pamboy.
Pamboy, PAM_boy. If you wish to see,
if you want to read amazing stuff.
If you want to read quirky,
if you want to educate yourself,
journalism about fashion, and a slight obsession with Karl Lagerfeld.
Slight.
And who's that model that you talk about constantly now?
Kaya Gerber.
Yeah, okay. All my information can be found right here, Sangiev. That is that. We're going to conclude it right here. Have a beautiful day. Take care. Peace.
I've been watching you. I like the way you move. So go ahead, girl, just do that. Just grab your girls and grab a couple more.